How do I do this again? Now I know what some of you might be thinking.
Oh my god, why did you cut your hair?
Because I wanted to?
But your long hair was so pretty!
Sorry?
But why?
Because I wanted to? Because I live in Florida now and it's hot as hell?
So what, are you gonna tell us you're gay now?
No, I'm not gonna tell you that I'm gay now. Because the fact is that I always have been. Yep, so there's that. If you follow me on Twitter, this is probably not news to you, because I'm not exactly shy about the feelings that Emma Watson makes me feel. I may mention it every other day or so. But to some of you, this could potentially be a surprise. So why am I telling you this now? Well, I kinda always wanted to, but I didn't want to say anything here until I told my family. And now they know, so you get to know. Yay! My family's reaction was, shall we say, mixed. My brother's reaction was, well, you do wear a lot of plaid. And he would be correct. But my parents are having a really hard time with it. And I don't really know why I expected anything else, but I guess I'd heard so many stories of people coming out and it going super great and everything being totally fine that I just thought, it'll probably be fine for me too. Though really, considering how long it took me to figure it out myself, I should expect that other people might need a little time to adjust to it. A lot of you probably know that I grew up in a really conservative Christian environment, and in fact went to a really conservative Christian school for all 13 years of my pre-college education. And it was just a fact that gay people were going to hell, so I wasn't going to hell, so obviously I couldn't be one of them. But then I went to college and I actually, met some gay people and realized that they're, people, humans, and I started to see things a little bit differently. I think the first time I noticed anything gay within myself was probably when I was about 18. But it took me till I was 21 or 22 to actually say it out loud to anybody. And it wasn't until I was 24 that I was able to look myself in the mirror and say, hey, guess what? You are homosexual. But really, once I figured it out, I looked back at my life and realized that it's always been this way. I just didn't have the proper perspective. You want to know how I was finally able to come to terms with it? It's a pretty embarrassing story. But here you go. I'm a pretty huge fan of Pretty Little Liars, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm a little bit obsessed with it. And because I also like to read, I decided that I should read the book series that the show is based on. And it turns out the books are really terrible. So I don't recommend reading them. Because even though they're horrible, they're still addictive like the show is. So you're like, oh, this sucks, but I have to keep going. I have to know what happens, but it sucks. So don't read them. But I did. And if you know anything about the show or the books, you know that there's a character, Emily, who realizes she's gay pretty early on in the show and has to come to terms with it. And I'm reading this book and I see her, like I see what she's going through, and I see that she's really confused, and I start to think, oh my god, these are things that I have thought, these are feelings that I have often. Is this something that is happening to me as well? That was really bizarre, to be reading a really terrible book, but to have my own thoughts and feelings expressed so precisely on the page at the same time. It blew my mind, and from that point on, there was no going back. So yep, I was finally able to accept my gayness because I read Pretty Little Liars. Oh my god.